Hey, welcome to my channel, Alchemist. My name is Nassim. I'm a founder of Electron-to-go grab-and-go phone chargers for commercial spaces. I bootstrap product development process for world-class product right behind me, in my hand. It's been a crazy 7-year journey, and I want to share lessons that I learned and things that I wish I knew when I just started. This video is for bootstrappers. Of course, if you have a lot of money, you can do whatever you want, but I don't think those people will watch this video. You watch this video because you want to learn from someone who bootstrapped their way up, like I did. And that's why my experience might be very useful. So, in this introductory video, I would like to talk about, in my opinion, the most important thing, which is importance of launching, starting, just action, action, action. Let me explain what I mean by this. I will explain it by talking about 3 probably the most important stages of building hardware and building hardware company. Number 1 is validation of your idea. That's where you will be validating your idea. Number 2, design with factory in mind. Number 3, sell, sell, sell as soon as possible, right from the beginning. Let me start with number 1, validate your idea. Number 1 reason why startups die, according to Y Combinator, is because they don't talk to their customers. I believe them. So how I started, that's what I mean by launch and action. I started with the idea of installing wireless chargers in the tables. It was 7 years ago. Wireless charger was like magical technology that everyone was talking about. And I ordered wireless charger on Alibaba. I talked with restaurant and they were crazy enough to try. And I drilled the hole in the table myself. I never used the mill machine before, but I learned how to do it. I installed the wireless charger and came up with, because it required power supply and wire for pilot. They would never do this. So I came up with the idea of putting the battery. We installed it, launched it. It was really not the most complete prototype, you can say, but we launched it. And that was the best thing I could have done. What I learned from this launch? A lot. Number 1, yes, users on the go need phone chargers. I knew this because I built it to myself, because I was facing this problem with chargers on the go all the time, where your phone dies and there is nowhere to charge. I knew that, but knowing and seeing is different. Another thing that we learned, who will allow us to drill holes, especially in expensive tables? Right? Number 2, not every phone has a wireless charge. Number 3, who will let us to bring this power to each table? It's electrical nightmare. And number 4, and most important, wireless charger is not portable. Users can't move while they use it, neither can they move their phones. So it's a deal killer in a way. If I didn't launch this pilot, I would never learn it. This prototype was so undercooked that the manager of the location told the owner, who agreed to this pilot, that we look like amateurs, our solution is unprofessional. I was very young back then, and I mean, looked really young. I think it also played a role. And he was like, we could buy it and do it by ourselves. It wasn't fun to hear and get this feedback, but who cares? I saved myself a year at least of my time. If I didn't launch this pilot, I would never learn that like wireless charge is a gimmick. It's a hype. It's good when you sleep, when you have it by your bed, but other than that, other use cases aren't as great. So yeah, we ended up with portable chargers. And I learned this by launching this pilot. So the lesson that you can get from here is, whatever idea you have to launch the prototype as soon as possible. You might say, well, Nassim, My idea is too complex. I need to build this complex functional prototype. I'm pretty sure you can dumb it down and make something that is viable. You see, what our prototype was, a wireless charger. It has nothing to do with this, what we have now. But one thing it does, it tested the core need, charging phone. People needed the phone chargers, just not that way, not with wireless chargers. So overcome this fear of being disliked, because that's the root cause. The root cause of perfectionism is this insecurity that leads to this fear of being disliked. If you want, you can learn more about it. Just Google fear of being disliked. I think there's even a book about it. And perfectionism will kill you before you even start. The next question you might ask on this validation stage, Nassim, how do I know that I validated my idea? That's what I would do. I would imagine that I have a dialogue with myself from 6 months. I know it sounds crazy, but imagine that. And imagine you're talking with yourself from 6 months. If you can say that I did everything I could, I tried everything, I think I exhausted all things that could be done to validate this idea, and I think it's good to go. Then you are good to go. But just keep it balanced. Don't overcomplicate. Don't spend way too much time on this. You have to have a balance, okay? Because in the beginning, you always have to prioritize the momentum over other things, speed over perfectionism or anything else. Experiment and iterate as quick as possible. Iterate. After wireless chargers, once I committed that, okay, I'm gonna do this project, I'm gonna do the phone chargers, I made Oyvind and he designed this solution, the first version of Supernova. It almost looked the same, the design, the concept. And with he 3D printed it, cut on CNC, and we went and we showed it on CES. We presented on CES. We had a booth. Steve, our partner, he had a booth for his products. And so we just kind of sneaked on his booth and showed this product. And this was exactly what we should be doing. And think about this. I had an idea in June, July. In August, I had a wireless pilot. And in December, we presented, in January, after 5 months, we presented on CES of just CNC cut and 3D printed parts. So one thing that I want you to learn from here, one thing, launch whatever your idea is as fast as possible. Reality will not treat it like as kindly as you wish, but what it will do, it will shape it so it's real. It's solution that is acceptable by reality, not hallucination that you have and dreams that you have that you will build something that it may be that no one will need it. So we need to avoid that, and to avoid that, you have to go and present your solution to the audience as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And once we presented it on CES, after 6 months, you see, I'm keep going with this very raw prototypes. We got so much positive feedback. People wanted to buy it right there. We couldn't sell, but it was clear that the solution itself, the concept was successful. And it gave us confidence to invest further. You see, I never was committing without some evidence, some real feedback. And so you should be doing the same. And the solution itself was shaped by reality, by feedback from the reality. And also we learned what type of customers might be potentially interested, which we had one idea and it ended up differently from a business point of view. Number two, design with factory in mind. What I mean by this is you have to talk and collaborate with factory as soon as possible. You can't just dump your design on them and expect that they will figure it out and everything will go smoothly. Just think about it and remember that if you do your prototype without factory, everything you did, it's basically you start from scratch, because it has to be designed for mass production. The end goal is mass production. So to get to mass production, you need to build it with expert of mass production, with factory. Just present your design as soon as possible. Don't worry about they will steal my design or whatever. What does it matter if you don't survive? 70% of startups, hardware startups, don't survive till mass production. Who cares? Present, pick some. That's what I did. I picked several. I did it after I got burned a few times. So I built it with factory. I showed them the design, the concepts, and they obviously were pushing back on some crazy ideas. But this pushback is good. The pushback is good. Why? Because it's a pushback again. It's pushback from reality. You see, it's the same theme. It's you're dealing with people who are not dreamers, but who are actually manufacturing every day tens of thousands of items, and they know what can go wrong, and they know they are battle hardened people. So you want to listen to them. Though if you are committed to some features or concepts that you have in mind that will be crucial, then you have to insist, you have to push them to figure it out, how to build it. Believe me, I've been looked at as I'm crazy on more than one occasion. Just look at this thing. You would never say that it's a power bank and it's a station with power banks. So we had very heated debates about certain features, and they were many times right. I was open, I listened. They always trying to simplify, you will try to overcomplicate, and that's a healthy dynamic in which, in this push and pull, you just have to be transparent about your expectations, about your requirements. That is very important, by the way. You have to have very clear requirements. You can't just change them on the go. That is a disaster, because if you will come to them and say, you know what, I think we need to make it circle instead of rectangle, whatever, right? They'll be pissed, rightly so, because they'll need to start from scratch. I'm not saying that you shouldn't change. What I'm saying is you have to be very mindful about things you want. And that leads me to my next point. My next point is you can't have it all, okay? You can't have gazillion features, quality like Apple, design like Apple, and expect that everything will go smoothly. It doesn't work this way. Apple got to where they are after decades of expertise, trials and errors. You aren't Apple. So when you will be dealing with factory, they will be telling you this as well. Your job is to choose the most crucial features without which you can't go to mass production. You always should keep in mind that you have second version, you have third, fourth, fifth version. Remember, first iPhone didn't have video. Just check the evolution of first iPhone, second iPhone, third iPhone. It's crazy. They compromised on many things. And what makes you think that you are different from Apple? If they compromised, you should compromise too. I'm not saying compromise like hinder your product. No, I'm saying be reasonable. Pick up the most important features. Your job is to get to mass production, the idea that you validated, and to survive, to get the revenue, to get the momentum going. That's your job, because you will be needing to do a lot of stuff. And actually, as simpler your product is, as less problems you will face on customer support, returns, and all this. This is also keep in mind, because this will be coming. I'll talk about this more later. So again, that's why it's important to immediately start to do it with factory. Number 3, sell, sell, sell as soon as possible. I did this mistake of thinking that I will build the best product and they will come. You know this from this movie, this philosophy of build it and they will come. I far too much relied on this, and we did build a great product, but what I learned that even if you have the best product, it's not enough. The best product, unfortunately, can lose to best business development team, to best sales team. That's just the painful lesson I learned. And if I changed one thing that I did, I would put more effort, much more effort into sales and business development from the beginning. Here's what I would do. I would identify my target market, like online, social media, Reddit groups. I would identify them and I would make two lists: my target customers and my target channel, distribution channel. Because you not only need to think about how you will get your product in hands of customers, you also need to think about who can be a potential channel to do this. Because unless you want to only do direct to customer model, if you don't, you'll need a channel. So the channel is how to think about the channel. Channel is who sells something to your target customers already, like whatever they sell, and make those two lists. Just for example, what I mean by this: the first location, the first big campus that we got, California State University Long Beach campus, we got them through their existing supplier, through existing printer supplier that my partner knew. So that's how we got there. See what I mean? So you may, if I would be starting, I would make two lists. List number one is target customers, as I said. List number two, channel, is those who already sell to my target customer. I would script their email somehow, or like directly or directly message them on social media. And what I would do, I would message them. I would set up a through software automated emails, drip email campaign. And launch drip email campaign, because persistency matters. Like what I learned is people respond after 5-6 emails. Actually, you have to just sometimes just hammer, not to be a spammer. Don't be senseless. Have some sense, common sense when you email them, but you have to be persistent. And this persistency will get you some replies. And what you're trying to do here, you're trying to identify where your product is resonating and put all your eggs on those areas where it resonates. And you do it in parallel. In parallel, while you do the manufacturing and design and all this stuff, right after you started the validation of your idea, that's when you do it. It's part of validation, and you shouldn't stop it. You shouldn't stop the validation process. After you validated your idea and started manufacturing, you shouldn't stop sales. It's basically a non-stop process, never ending. And so by these direct emails, you will see with whom it resonates, and you invest, you go all in with those with whom it resonates. And you see what happens. You are starting to collect some, hopefully, pre-orders while you manufacture. And once it's manufactured, you're not scrambling to sell. It's already sold out. That's the goal. Basically, your goal is not to have a warehouse. Produced, sold. Produced, sold. There are many reasons. One of the reasons, you will immediately learn if there are some bad bugs or bad quality issues. It will immediately be revealed and you can stop the production. And also, your money is not frozen in stock. You need this cash flow. As quicker it flows, as better you're doing. So those are 3 areas I would focus. And as you can see, what is important here is to have bias towards action. Forget about fear of being disliked. No one cares. No one will care if you don't launch. You've probably seen some kind of failed attempts of someone to do something. But have you messaged them or said, haha, too bad, you did a bad job? You don't probably even remember that. The same about you. No one will care. Just launch it. But what you should care about is wasted time and investment in something that no one needs. To avoid that, overcome your fear and just go. That's the most important message here. Overcome fear of being disliked. Action, action, action. Just launch, iterate and iterate. Trust yourself. Be confident in yourself that you will figure it out. Don't plan grandiose plans. It's bad. In the beginning, it's bad. Proactive thinking over passive thinking. You can't just plan. Remember Mike Tyson quote, everything goes according to the plan until you're punched in the face. So get punched in the face as soon as possible. How you can get punched in the face? Go to arena, present your idea. Yep, it's scary, but Who said it will be easy? So I want to end it by quoting the most goated creator, Steve Jobs. I'll paraphrase his quote, but what he's basically said, people think that 90% of success is great idea. There is a tremendous amount of craftsmanship between an idea and a final result. Because whatever you thought in the beginning, it will be evolving during the process of creation. I mentioned about how I started with wireless charge and where I ended up. So as deeper you go, as more you learn, and as more it will evolve and change with you and with your understanding. And also along the way you will have to make tremendous amount of trade-offs, because there are certain things that can be done by bits, by code and atoms. So I hope this video was helpful. This is my first video. I tried my best. The funny thing, I'm saying that launch and don't have this fear of being disliked. I was working on this video, on this first video, for like 3 months. I was getting equipment and scripts and all this type of stuff. So don't be like me. Just go and launch. I will be making more of this. It's basically will be like a series, how I built Supernova and Electron. And I will be talking about each stage and how to build, basically from the idea to you have a hardware company. Next episode will be about validating your idea, prototyping. So stay tuned. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear about your experience and any question you may have. Until next time, keep innovating and chasing your dreams. Peace. Bye.